This is a psychopathic boy named Ikikawa who always reads murder stories. Just then, his classmate accidentally hits him, and now he feels like killing him. He thinks, I want to kill everyone around me. He then looks at a girl who is now his next target, Yamada. Yamada is the most beautiful girl in his class, and all he wants is her beautiful corpse lying dead. As lunchtime begins, Ikikawa gets up and walks toward the library. When he opens the door, he sees Yamada sitting at a table eating rice balls. He walks by Yamada quietly but gets surprised when she says something to him while eating. Not fully grasping anything, he says yes and continues into the library. He hides behind a bookshelf and watches Yamada carefully. She opens a big packet of chips. She starts munching on them. While eating, she hums and taps the table. Ikikawa finds it annoying and starts planning to murder her there. But in the next moment, he sees her starting to work on a project. She then looks for a cutter in her box, but it's not there. Ikikawa thinks of giving his own cutter but hesitates. What if she asks why I'm carrying it around? What a creep. But then he sees her tearing the paper with her hands, so he offers her his own cutter. She thanks him for that, and he blushes upon hearing it. He then goes back behind the bookshelf. Now Yamada uses his cutter to finish her work. After finishing, she accidentally puts his cutter in her own box and leaves. He follows to stop her but sees her friend scolding her for her snacking habits. She runs back to Ikikawa and gives him the packet. He initially thinks she's giving him her leftovers, but she finishes the chips and hands him the packet to throw away. The next day, Ikikawa enters class thinking about his box cutter. He sees it on his desk, realizing it's warm, meaning Yamada had held it on her way. Holding his cutter with the thought of killing her again, he gets surprised as he realizes she knew his desk. Later, teacher announces it's time for presentations. Ikikawa overhears Yamada saying, "This isn't the chart I made yesterday." Her friend says, "It was a mess, I redid the whole thing." But this angers Ikikawa. He thinks, "Bitch, how could you? Yamada worked so hard." While Yamada just smiles as her friend tells her this. Now, as Yamada's group is giving presentation, Ikikawa notices that she looks extremely sad. When he goes up to present with his group, he sees that Yamada even starts crying because her work had to be redone by her group mates. He thinks she always seems so chill and happy, hiding all her feelings. Just then, a helicopter passes by, and everyone looks in her direction. Ikikawa thinks, I need to distract them. He tears up his project using his cutter so no one will notice her crying. He diverts everybody's attention away from Yamada. His group partners scold him, and he gets awkward while Yamada is again smiling and asking about the helicopter. Later on, he sees Yamada sitting on her friend's lap and having fun. Her friend says it's time to switch, and now she's happily sitting. Yamada says, "You're so heavy." He overhears his classmate discussing his dirty thoughts, imagining Yamada sitting on her boyfriend's lap. This angers him as he thinks, I want to murder him. His classmate Kento reveals he's into a girl named Hara, who is plumper. Later, seeing Yamada again in the library, he walks in silently. Hara also appears, saying, "Someone asked me to meet." Yamada munches and then starts talking with Hara. Just then, Kento arrives to meet Hara. They both sit facing each other silently and blush. Ikikawa wonders if Kento will confess his feelings to Hara. Yamada starts the conversation with them, but as they blush, she realizes she shouldn't be there. Just then, Ikikawa accidentally drops a book. Yamada says, "It's a cat," and signals him to act like a cat, but he meows very poorly. Yamada goes to the back to show him how to make a cat noise. They then overhear Hara saying, "It sounds like two cats fighting." Yamada asks him to join as they meow, and they both start laughing. Afterward, they both leave together, and Yamada sighs, saying, "Job's done." She then leaves as well, saying, "See ya." On his way home, Ikikawa sees a magazine shop. Remembering Yamada's modeling job, he gets curious about magazine she's in. Later, he enters the store in casuals. Just as he spots the magazine, he sees Yamada in casual clothes and quickly hides. Two girls appear to buy the magazine. Yamada tries to catch their attention but ends up creeping them out, and they leave. She then places her magazine on top to catch attention, but store clerk comes to put it back, leaving her disappointed as she leaves, with Ikikawa watching her. Later at home, he opens the magazine he bought and spots her. He starts looking at her pictures and thinks she's unrecognizable in the photographs. Suddenly, he realizes something and throws the magazine in the dustbin. Lying down, he thinks, why do I care about her when I want to kill her? The next day, on the way to school, he spots Yamada with a guy. He wonders if he is her boyfriend and feels upset. But then he sees the guy asking for her social media handle. She makes an excuse, not wanting to give it to him. Ikikawa thinks, what a creep, not leaving her alone. Suddenly, they stop, and the guy asks for her number this time. She tries to leave, but he holds her wrist and forces her. Feeling distressed, she says, "Okay, I'll give it to you." Ikikawa watches this but tells himself he doesn't care. Suddenly, in frustration, he pushes his bicycle down a hill, and it ends up falling into the water. Everyone's attention shifts there, allowing Yamada to distance herself from the guy. Her friends come from behind and say, Ikikawa sent his bike flying. Yamada asks him why, and he awkwardly says, "I accidentally hit the gas instead of the brakes." She laughs at this, telling him he's funny. Later in the library, Ikikawa once again watches Yamada from behind the bookshelves. Yamada opens a packet of candy, mostly for kids. She then gets up with a water holder and rushes to fill it. But as she returns, she realizes she spilled the water on the way. She rushes back to fill it again. Ikikawa notices the mess she's making and starts wiping the floor. She comes back and says, I was gonna wipe it up later. But then she realizes break is about to end and rushes back. Ikikawa thinks, why doesn't she just get a cup to fill up? He looks at her and then runs toward the homeroom, picks up a glass, and runs back. But then he finds out that Yamada used a bowl instead. She then tastes the candy and feels so happy. Ikikawa pretends the glass was for him. As he finishes drinking, she hands him her trash, saying he can keep it. Later in class, she is struggling with the heat, so Moko helps her fan herself. Yamada, Moko, and others fan each other. Kobayashi gets hit by Yamada, and she yells at her. Ikikawa wonders why Yamada eats alone despite having many friends. He even thinks, is she planning to off me at the library? Next, we see Yamada sweating heavily, and the boys talk about seeing her undergarments, which shocks Ikikawa. His classmate Adachi decides to peek at Yamada. Ikikawa drops his cutter to stop him, and his plan works as he scares Adachi with the cutter. He then leaves the classroom and sees Yamada's friend Kobayashi giving her a piggyback ride. He thinks of Kobayashi as Yamada's boyfriend in his mind, who always takes care of her. Later in the library, while he uses a hand fan and is reading, Yamada is munching on her chips again. Just when he looks at her, she asks, hey, can I borrow that? He slides it toward her, and she starts fanning herself. She then says, this fan smells so good, and tells him to come and check. He gets closer and smells it, accidentally noticing her swimsuit underneath. Just then, she gets a call from Kobayashi and tells Ikikawa to sit down and help. When Kobayashi arrives, she looks angry and asks about Yamada. She sits there and tells him, Yamada always eats chips alone because I'm allergic. Once, when she was at my house, she took a long time in the bathroom. I checked and found her eating chips in the hall. She has weird ways of taking care of me. She starts praising her. Hearing this, Yamada comes out on her own, and now they leave with Yamada carrying her. With the cultural festival approaching, the whole class is busy preparing for it. Yamada asks him to help with the poster decoration. He says, okay, I'll do it. He offers advice to Hara for decoration but gets distracted by her appearance. As he was trying to have a closer look, Yamada startles him by jumping out to scare him. Kobayashi tells her, you need more practice, as they leave. He continues working with Hara. As she finishes, she leaves to empty the bucket. Yamada enters and spots a gravestone drawing with her surname on it. Everyone comes and asks who wrote it. Ikikawa wonders if Hara wrote it because she might hate Yamada. Adachi grabs him, suspecting that he wrote it. To avoid a clash between the two girls, Ikikawa admits to doing it. Adachi wants to fight him to impress Yamada, but luckily, Hara arrives and says she wrote it as she was writing common surnames. Now, Ikikawa helps her erase it. Yamada sits beside him and apologizes as she realizes he was protecting Hara. Just then, Kobayashi calls her and she walks away. Hara says, with the names gone, they just look like blocks of tofu. So Ikikawa writes his surname on the gravestone and goes to wash his hands. Yamada startles him, wondering if she'd be scarier with fake blood. Ikikawa shows her how to make paint look like real blood. She moves her face close to him, and he puts a dot on her, then walks away. The cultural festival begins, and Ikikawa spots Yamada with her friends. He thinks, on days like these, I'm always on my own. Haruya appears with some guys, and together with the girls, they decide to take a round together. Ikikawa decides to follow them and remembers that Haruya isn't that bad since he helped him pull his bike. He starts following them but ends up losing sight of them. Just when he's thinking of entering a room, Yamada comes from behind and says, let's go inside. Yamada is amazed to see the map of their town. She sits down and points out her place. She then asks Ikikawa about his place. He points it out, and she says, your house is not far away from mine. He says, I'll take a picture. Yamada takes his phone and clicks a selfie when he wanted to photograph the map. The next day, we see Ikikawa drawing a hero for his story, and the heroine is already done. He then looks at Yamada and stares at her. Later, we see him in the nurse's office because of a headache. She tells him to take some rest. Then, he sees Yamada's shoes and tries to convince himself that they might belong to a boy from another class. His head starts hurting, so the nurse tells him to rest as she leaves. He is shocked to see Yamada lying on the bed next to him. He thinks, is this the best chance to murder her? Just then, she wakes up and asks what happened. He tells her, I have a headache. She says, I have a bad stomachache. She then tries to take something out of her pocket. There are so many candies, and from them, she takes out a pill and gives it to him. He goes to eat it and sees a wet cup, realizing Yamada used it earlier. He struggles with the pill but quickly swallows it after Yamada startles him as she leaves. He goes back to his bed and notices that she forgot her t-shirt. He wants to touch it but tries to stop himself from being curious. Just then, the nurse comes in and sees it. She throws it to Ikikawa and tells him to give it back to her. The smell of the shirt is really nice to him. After taking rest, he is walking back to class. He spots Yamada and tries to return her shirt, but she's in a hurry. Kobayashi asks, and she says, I left my candies in the nurse's office. Later in class, Ikikawa continues working on his story while the girls are having their own chit-chat. The boys come up with the idea to play a perverted game with the girls, which frustrates Ikikawa. Adachi approaches the girls, and they give him a death stare, so he changes the subject, saying, I can tell you how healthy you are from your nails. He then comments on them and leaves. The boys then plan how to ask perverted questions. Adachi hands a letter to Ikikawa to give to Yamada. He thinks Adachi has written something perverted. He approaches Yamada and hands it to her. As she opens it, her face lightens up. He handed his drawing instead. He comes out to look at Adachi's letter asking Yamada for her number. It's nothing dirty. He comes back to class and hears Adachi conjure a new dirty plan for the girls. Adachi again approaches girls and says, let's play a game. Ikikawa imagines how Yamada will react to Adachi's dirty jokes. Now Adachi says, girls grab my fist one by one, to know how girls like to be controlled. Moko asks, so you want to touch us in the name of the game? To clear her doubt, he calls boys. One of the guys touching his hand indicates he wants to be controlled by the back. Now the first girl touches him with a scale, which indicates she's in toys. Moko using Kobayashi's hand means she's into threesomes. The next one touches with the leg, which means she likes foot job. Ikikawa is watching them and gets curious when Yamada's turn comes. Yamada starts getting ready for her turn. Just then girls find out about their pervy game, while Yamada struggles to wear her shirt. Later in the library, Ikikawa is thinking about Adachi's pervert game. Yamada enters the room and counts her candy. She approaches him as some are missing. She grabs his hand and opens it, finding nothing, while he falls on the ground thinking about the game that she wants to control her partner from top. Just then she says, oh, they were in my pocket. Now the basketball practice time starts. Yamada is having fun with Kobayashi, and the teacher tells them to focus. After that, as they are all warming up, Ikikawa watches Yamada, thinking when he will get a chance to murder her. As he's thinking about her, he's hit by the ball, which makes him bad. He tries to hit back, but seeing Yamada, he stops. So he gives the ball back and she leaves. As everyone is playing, he is sitting in the corner, and then he spots Yamada staring at him. Just then she's hit by the ball, but then she gets up fast. Ikikawa thinks she was looking at me right. In the next second, we see she is bleeding, and her friends are there with tissue. He again notices that she looks at him. Coach says let's go see the nurse. Yamada's friend gets angry at the girl who hit her, while Ikikawa walks toward the nurse room. He starts running to check if she's fine. He peeks into the nurse office where she's being treated. He enters in silently and finds a place to hide. Hiding under her bed, he feels bad to see the blood. Coach gives Yamada the phone call of her mother. While Ikikawa listens to it, she starts crying and call. Her tears fall on his hands, and tears automatically come out of his eyes as well. She accidentally drops her wallet, and Ikikawa sees the picture that he drew. He recalls all the moments with her, and in that moment he realizes he actually likes her. Back in class, everyone is sad after what happened with Yamada. Adachi comes saying I got Yamada's blood tissue. Ikikawa wants to say something to Adachi but stops since he has blood marks on his shirt. The next day, Yamada walks towards school, and everyone asks what happened to her. She is tired of explaining so many times, so Kobayashi writes a reason for her bandage. Then her friends tell how worried they got. Yamada gets emotional and hugs Kobayashi, saying thank God my nose didn't get crooked, while Ikikawa watches her. Later, he sees Yamada crying all alone. She ran off from tissues, so he decides to put one for her in the library, and then writes feel free to use but thinks it seems like a trap. When Yamada enters, she sees so many tissues on the desk. He thinks this will look less suspicious. She opens her packet of chips and eats while she uses tissue to clear her hands. The next morning, when Ikikawa is going to school, he keeps thinking about Yamada. As he enters the school, he walks towards his class. Upon entering and sitting in his chair, he wonders if he really likes Yamada. He then looks at Yamada, who is talking with her friends. During break, while eating his meal, he spots a girl staring at Yamada. Just then Yamada puts the milk in her bag without anyone noticing. Ikikawa thinks she might feed it to strays later. But later, in the library, she takes out a packet that she plans to add to the milk to make pirachi. She tears the packet, and Ikikawa thinks, doesn't she need a bowl to make it? When she's about to add it to the milk, he stops her. He tells her, we can get a bowl from the home ec room for that. She says, okay, go fetch me one. He starts to run to get one, but she stops him, saying, I was kidding. They both then go together to fetch the bowl. When they reach there, the room is locked. She's about to add the mixture there, but he says no. Next, they enter the science lab. Ikikawa first measures the ingredient and then adds them to the milk. Yamada starts laughing at what he's doing. When he finishes, he gives it to her and she starts mixing them. As she's done, Ikikawa says, we don't have a spoon. So Yamada takes his finger, dips it, and makes him taste the pirachi. As it tastes fine, she starts enjoying it. Suddenly, she spills it as the teacher enters, asking what they're doing. Ikikawa says, nothing, but the teacher sees Yamada coughing, with all the pirachi spilled on the floor. Later during cleaning duty, Ikikawa sees a girl approaching Yamada. When she tries to talk, the cleaning cloth falls down. As Kobayashi comes, she takes her to get it. Yoshida appears, asking, you haven't apologized yet. Rin says, it wasn't like I meant to do it. Ikikawa thinks, I could never stand these catfights. They both start fighting, and Rin runs away after that. Later, when Yamada is eating in the library as usual, Ikikawa spots Rin and thinks she's here to say sorry. Guess I better excuse myself, but he is stopped by Yamada. She shows him how she swapped the face with the poster behind her, but all he thinks about is how to get away so Rin can talk to her. Just then, she says, let's take a picture together. Reluctantly, he says, I'm not into stuff like that, and then runs away from there. Yoshida stops him and shushes him. Now they watch them silently. Yamada calls Rin, telling her about the face swapping app. Rin goes closer, and Yamada says, let's take a pic. She takes a selfie, and their faces are swapped. Rin asks, why did you make a weird face? Yamada says, I would have made an even weirder one if I hadn't hurt my nose. Rin feels bad all of a sudden and says, sorry that I hit you with the ball that day. Yamada asks, oh, it was you. It's no big deal. Ikikawa internally says she didn't even know. Yamada tries to share chips, but they're fresh out. She then tries to take out candies, but only wrappers fall out. Yoshida appears and starts collecting the wrappers, and they help her. Afterwards, Yamada happily leaves, and both girls also say sorry to each other. After school, when Ikikawa is walking back home, he thinks everyone is worried about Yamada's nose. Then he remembers, oh yes, she's a model after all. As he's thinking, Yamada comes out of the mart. She runs towards him and talks to him. She then asks, wanna give me a ride? And as he can't say no to her cute face, he says, okay, sit. Where do you want to go? She says, to a snack shop. He looks at her as she sits. She says, wait, I forgot something. She takes out Papiko and splits it. He thinks, I never thought I'd split Papiko with a girl. But she only gives him the lid, and he reluctantly takes it, thinking, yeah, she's Yamada. What else can I expect? Now he starts riding. On the way, Yamada tells him, I will have to quit the basketball club since I got hurt, so now I'm forbidden from playing. She then says, I'm thinking of joining the data processing club, which Ikikawa is in. He says, yeah. She loudly says, say something at least. Not even knowing, his heartbeat has gotten faster. Just then, he sees a stop sign and a police station. He imagines a police officer coming and saying, you're breaching the law by double riding. People then blame Yamada for riding with a loner. Her mom is crying, and Yamada had to quit modeling because of that. But then he looks back at Yamada. She asks, what's wrong? He says, nothing, seeing her so carefree. He wants to be like that for a moment. Just then, the green signal lights up, and Ikikawa rides the bike carefree. Thinking, I sometimes overthink a lot. As they reach the place, she says, I'll give you this half Papiko in return. He takes it and gives the lid to her, just like she did. She smiles, takes it, and walks away saying, bye. The next day at school, the teacher asks who threw the snack wrapper in the library trash, while Yamada is busy playing with her eraser. He calls out, Yamada, who could that be? She replies, I never threw anything in the trash, couldn't be me. The teacher says, come to the teacher's office after class. She asks, what did I do? While Kobayashi teases her. After class, Ikikawa is peeking into the office. Just then, Yamada appears, asking, why are you here? He says, just passing by. She says, come with me, I'm scared. Now they enter the office. He says, I'm here to observe. The teacher scolds her, saying snacks are not allowed in school. Ikikawa says, she never admitted bringing one, and convinces the teacher. Then he says, now we will take our leave. The teacher stops him, saying, I've never seen you talk this much before. As they walk out, she says, choose one candy. He thinks only one of them is candy. He chooses the rubber and she runs away smiling. She stops and says, let's talk more like friends. He grabs it tightly as he's amazed to hear that. It's the weekend, and we see a burger shop. Ikikawa is sitting there. His sister comes over and says, thank you for coming with me. He thinks, she dragged me here. Just as he's wondering, if anyone from my class sees me with this idiot, he spots Yamada, who also looks at him. She and her friends sit behind his seat. He tries to listen to their conversation as Yamada talks with her friends. His big sister says, eat more, you seem like a girl on a diet, which embarrasses him. He walks away, saying, I'm gonna buy something. Yamada follows him and says, watch it. She adds, that was your sister. She is super cute. She checks the menu and says, I'll have some soft serve, but then says, I forgot my wallet. I'll go and bring it, see ya. As he's ordering, he suddenly realizes she came down just to talk to him. But then we see him with the soft serve he bought to give her. Suddenly, she appears, and he wants to give it to her, but she says, are you copying me? And walks away. Next day in class, Ikikawa thinks about the school's typical workplace visits. Bakery, publishing company, boring. What he really wants is a visit to a medical coroner or a crime investigation site. The teacher says, make a group of 6 each, and students walk to choose their respective groups. Ikikawa looks at Yamada's group, who are deciding where they want to visit. Now that everyone has decided on their groups and Ikikawa is left alone, Adachi tells him to join them, and he agrees. Kento says, look, Hara's group needs 2 members. Adachi says, Yamada's group also needs 2 members. So, they decide to split up into those 2 groups. They approach Yamada's group. Moko says, we will take the other 2, and this brings a smile to Ikikawa's face. Adachi tells them that Kento wants to be in Hara's group. Moko says, how about we discuss it first? Adachi gets angry, now you'll discuss. She gives him a pissy look. Now, the girls start discussing whom to select. After deciding, Moko says, we'll pick Kento first. Yamada says, wait, first ask Kento what he wants. Ikikawa also speaks up, yeah, he should join Hara's group, saying he gets good grades, so he should be in a group of people with the same level of intelligence. This pisses off Yamada's group. But then Adachi says, I'm a dummy, and Oda is as well. Ikikawa says, wait, I only got 40 marks in science. Oda says, damn, he's dumber than me. So, Oda and Kento go to join Hara's group. Yamada whispers, I know you lied about your marks. He is shocked. How did she know I got 92 in science? Later, in the library, he's thinking about Yamada when he sees Hara entering. Yamada also appears and then calls Hara over to eat chips. Hara gets excited but says, I'm on a diet. Yamada says, didn't Kento say he likes curvy girls? Hara replies, that's only for cute girls. Yamada says, you're cute, and asks, how's it going between you and Kento? Hara whispers something, and Yamada excitedly cries out loudly, you went out together, which reaches Ikikawa's ears. She then starts asking for details about their date. Hara then asks her, what about you? She replies, I don't have a boyfriend. Hara asks, you've never had one? And Yamada says, no. Ikikawa feels relieved. Yamada asks, what do girls like to do once they have a boyfriend? And says, this is what I want to do, share a pair of earbuds and then take a selfie. She also wants to put his hand in her pocket, then in her pocket, but she discovers a piece of choco. Getting caught, Hara feels bad. Yamada says, you have it. Now, as they check the picture, they spot Ikikawa's eyes. They go back, and Hara asks, you guys are always here. He says, I'm always here, but Yamada started showing up one day. Later after school, while putting his things in the locker, he thinks she really never had a boyfriend and remembers the moments with her. Just as he starts to walk out, he sees it's raining. Wearing his raincoat, he is about to leave when Yamada appears. She says, oh, you're gonna ride the bike, but your raincoat looks big on you. Let me borrow it. I will go and buy an umbrella for myself. Now she wears it and says, I'll be right back. As she leaves, he looks at her bag. He thinks that means she left her wallet in the bag, and she's already gone. As she walks toward the store, Ikikawa calls her. He came running because she forgot her bag and wallet. Seeing this, she tries to protect him from getting wet and asks him to take out the wallet from the uppermost pocket. He checks it out but gets an umbrella in his hand. Her reaction makes him realize she lied about not having an umbrella. She says, it's broken, so he keeps it back. He then takes out the wallet and tries to put it in her pocket. She says, it will get wet, put it in your shirt pocket. He turns all red while opening the button. He then puts it inside her pocket. She says, I will go and bring the umbrella now. Now he checks the umbrella and wonders why she lied about it being broken. Was she hoping to share an umbrella? Afterwards, she comes back with a new umbrella and some snacks. She eats ice cream and talks with him. After that, he says, now I'll leave. She stops him, saying, this is for you. He looks at her and thinks, do I like her? He thanks her, and as he is about to leave, she says, Ikikawa, I'm practically in love. He is amazed and cries out, with ice cream, right. Now it's finally time for their workplace visit. Yamada wants to have some drinks, but Kobayashi says, later. They reach outside the workplace. Inside Akita Publishing, Kobayashi talks with the receptionist while the others wait there. She then tells them, someone's coming down to guide us. A woman then takes them inside the editor's office, and they all enter to explore. Adachi asks Yamada, do you read manga? And she says, no. She spots a model, Yuri, and says, we're in the same agency. Adachi says, oh, you work with her. I love her chest. Hearing this, the girl gives him a pissy look. Now they talk about the popular manga Baki, which is published there. The woman says, want to take a look at the original art of it. Now a guy shows them the original art. Ikikawa also wants to see it badly. Yamada asks, you also want to see, and grabs his hand. She takes him there, saying, let Ikikawa also see the Baki art. Seeing it, his eyes sparkle, and words come out of his mouth, it's incredible. She responds, yeah. After they are done exploring, they enter the elevator. Just then, a fatso enters, and it gets cramped. Yamada gets so close to Ikikawa that he feels like he'll lose control. He closes his eyes, but then he can feel how good she smells. As the elevator stops, he opens his eyes to see Yamada staring at him. Everyone walks out. He asks her, what's the matter? She realizes and embarrassingly leaves. He tries to walk out and gets stuck. As they walk towards the station, Yamada asks, do you read manga a lot? He says, yeah, kind of. She says, all I know is Kimi Iro Octave. He says, it's a girl's manga, right? She says, wanna borrow it from me? Kobayashi asks if he'll enjoy a lovey-dovey manga, then smiles. He then says, I'm gonna use the bathroom. There, he gets mad, thinking, those girls were trying to make fun of me that I will never read something lovey. Coming out, he sees only Yamada. She was waiting for him. Now they both run because they might miss the train. And that's what really happens. The train leaves just as they reach there. Yamada feels bad about this. Ikikawa says the next train will come soon, but she starts crying. He thinks, what should I do to make her feel better? He looks at her and then walks toward the vending machine. Now, as Yamada looks up, Ikikawa is in front of her. He gives her the drink he bought from the vending machine. She stares at it, grabbing it in her hand. Ikikawa looks at her. He sits and says, it was my fault, I should have announced it. She imagines Ikikawa announcing to everyone and laughs. Is it like some declaration? You going to the bathroom. Then, the next train arrives. They are both now inside the train. As he walks in the train, Yamada holds him from behind, saying, we will get split up. She then asks him, did you enjoy today? He says, yeah, kind of, and she holds him tightly in excitement. I had fun as well. She then starts talking about Hara's and Kento's relationship and says, it's pretty crazy dating someone from the same class. What do you think, Ikikawa? Hearing this, he freezes for a moment. Now they reach their destination and walk to meet their friends. Meeting them, Yamada says, sorry, but Kobayashi says, I'm sorry, it was my fault. I didn't notice and left you behind. They hug, and Yamada says, it's okay, it happens sometimes. The next morning, while eating, Ikikawa starts talking about his workplace visit. His sister cuts in, you told us that yesterday. Realizing, he says, okay, I'm off. She says, seems like you're enjoying school lately. Now, as he rides towards school, he thinks, am I really enjoying school? And thinks, is that because I like Yamada? But then he remembers, but she was making fun of me. Now we see Yamada standing at the front gate of the school. Ikikawa spots her and thinks, is she waiting for someone? He moves on, thinking, it's nothing to do with me. But then he gets stopped by her. She greets him, good morning. He then walks to put his bike on the stand, and she takes out the Octave manga to give him. She says, I told you I'd lend them to you. He takes them, thinking she was serious about all that. She then starts spoiling the story, and Ikikawa stops her. She says, oh, I'm sorry, and he keeps them, then starts walking towards class. As she follows him, he says, weren't you waiting for someone at the front gate? She steps back and says, yeah. Ikikawa is unaware that she was waiting for him. Later, at the library, he's sitting and reading when Yamada arrives. He says, weren't you leaving early today? She says, I decided to swing by. She then says, you aren't reading the manga I gave you. He says, I read manga at home. She tries to take away his book, saying, read the manga. And in their tug of war, she falls on him. After that, the moment becomes awkward. She says, sorry, I'm leaving. But he stops her, then thinks, why did I stop her? He then asks, are you going to be in school tomorrow? And she says, yeah, I will. Later at home, he opens the romantic manga Yamada lent him. He tries to figure out in which position Yamada usually reads. When bits of chips fall on him, he realizes how she does. The next day at school, when he finishes washing his hands and cleaning, she appears, and as they talk, Adachi spots them together. Later, when Ikikawa thinks of reading the manga, Adachi appears and asks, what the hell are you doing with Yamada? You two seem close. He then asks if she has any boyfriend, because he has a crush on Yamada. Ikikawa says, no, she doesn't have any. Adachi then starts talking about how cute she is with a nice body figure. The way he describes her body makes Ikikawa feel uncomfortable, so he says, I'm heading back to class. On the way, he thinks, why did it irk me when he talked dirty about her? As he reaches the classroom, he looks at her with her friends and thinks, do I really like her? Yamada is sitting on his desk. He sits on his chair, and she puts her leg on the desk, making him turn all red. Later, when he enters the library, she seems tense as there is a notice about no eating in the library. She wonders who might have complained about her eating. Ikikawa says, we need to figure out who did that. She says, let's go ask the library teacher about this. As they walk, Ikikawa recalls how the teacher also asked about snack trash in the library bin. She says, but I never throw anything in the bin. They enter the teacher's room and ask about the notice. The teacher tells them she found a small toffee wrapper on the floor, so they put up the notice, as people follow rules better when they're clearly posted. Now, they both return to the library. He thinks, so this is the last day of Yamada in the library, since no more snacking is allowed. Yamada pulls out chocolates and says she'll continue to eat here despite the notice. Just when he says, if the librarian catches you, he sees her walking towards them. Yamada is about to eat it, so he moves toward her and grabs her hand to avoid the librarian finding out about the chocolate. When the librarian leaves, he moves away and then says, sorry. It's all melted in her hand, and he tells her to wash it, but she says, go away. She starts licking it as he walks away. Standing there, he says, you should lay off the snacks. He walks out, thinking he'll never get to see her again. But the next day, he spots Yamada there again. She's hiding the chocolate under a book and says, I can still eat this way. He thinks, yeah, Yamada never changes. Later at home, he sits at his computer thinking about Yamada. He searches for her model name, Anna, and finds her pictures online. As he browses, a comment calling her ugly catches his eye, which irritates him. He looks up more information and discovers she appears on a TV show that airs every Tuesday. He runs to check, but this week's episode has already ended. The next day, at the school playground, Ikikawa tells himself he likes Yamada as he watches her doing her warm-up exercises before the marathon. Now the marathon starts, and the students are running. While running, Ikikawa looks back and realizes Yamada is catching up to him. He doesn't want to lose to a girl, so he picks up the pace. Yamada catches him and grabs his t-shirt, saying, wait for me. But he frees himself and runs away. He sees Yamada taking off her vest and then runs to match his speed. He tells her she has her shirt on the wrong way. She throws her vest at him, saying, hold it, and starts putting it on the right way. He gets all red and sweaty seeing her. He slows down as he's running out of breath. Yamada looks back and waits for him. She notices his right eye for the first time and says, I've never seen it before. After the marathon, they are totally exhausted. Yamada then moves her hand for help. Ikikawa helps her off the ground, and she playfully bumps into him. She then walks away with Hara, holding her vest. Later, he researches holding hands but retracts his interest because he doesn't want his imagination running running wild. Just then, he realizes he has Yamada's marathon vest and that she has his. He contemplates what the others would say. Yuwa, why are you wearing that creep's shirt? During class, Yamada puts his vest on, and he thinks, what should I do if others discover it's my vest? Meanwhile, their teacher calls Adachi to solve a question. He fears Adachi will notice Yamada wearing his vest from the front. So he says, I will solve it, and the teacher allows him. From there, he tries alerting Yamada that she's wearing his vest, but she just stares at him. Adachi asks him why he's trying to pose, while the teacher tells him he got the question wrong. He returns to his desk. During lunch break, she goes to get her meal and then eats. Nobody notices, but Ikikawa keeps his eye on her. After he finishes his meal, she signals him. Inside the nurse's office, she changes the vest because she realized. She smells his vest and returns it to him. He wonders when she noticed they were swapped. While she is staring at him, and he's staring back, she suddenly says, let's measure each other. She tries to check his height but can't slide down the adjuster while he is all red, getting so close to her. She says, I'll measure with my hand, and he slides down embarrassingly. Now, for her turn, he brings a chair to stand on and measures her. He measures and says, your height is 172. Now Yamada wants to measure him, but he doesn't want to. This results in the two squabbling, and Yamada lands on the weight scale. She asks, you didn't see it, right? He says, who cares about your weight? She asks, so you saw. And they end up arguing. The next morning, as he walks towards class and sits down, he overhears some guys discussing that Yamada is going to be in a movie. Her friends are also talking about it. He notices, but Yamada doesn't look happy. He wonders if she's feeling sorrowful for poor folks like us. Their teacher enters the room and asks the class to pick a piece of paper from a box. They'll be switching seats. Kobayashi says, looks like we're split up. Afterwards, Ikikawa puts his desk in the new place. Sitting there, he hopes that Yamada will sit next to him. Yamada moves and puts her desk down. His hopes are shattered. She's sitting next to Adachi, and Hara puts her desk next to him. Now, as class starts, he can't copy notes because Yamada is in between. He then notices her beautiful eyelashes. Adachi says, I forgot my book, and she shares with him. Ikikawa gets jealous and says, look, it's here. Now he tries to lean to see the board. Hara says, you can copy my notes, and moves her desk. But Yamada gets jealous and gives him a nasty glance. Later, her friends call her, but she angrily replies, no. Ikikawa wonders why she's in a sour mood until she says, you must be happy sitting next to Hara since she's nice and cute. He tells her, during class, all I see is you. Before he can tell her, she makes it difficult to see the board. She gives a look that shows she's amazed, and they both look into each other's eyes. Hara appears, saying, I talked with the teacher about changing seats. Later, at the library, he explains what he meant, and now their seats are changed so she can see the board. Now she tells him about her role in the movie as the daughter of a police officer. He notices that she seems way more excited than earlier. She then says, listen to the line I have in the movie, you're such a creep. He feels weird, as he always contemplates that others think he's a creep, but she keeps practicing that line. And they notice a group of girls taking it the wrong way, so he suggests, let's go to a less crowded place. Now the two are in a small storeroom. Ikikawa feels a bit uncomfortable. Yamada asks him if he'll see her movie when it releases, and he is unsure if he will. After Yamada eggs him on, he says he'll try to see it. Yamada smiles and says, we're done. He asks, you don't want to practice anymore? She replies, not anymore. Later at home, he watches the show in which Yamada appears. He notices how cute she looks in a sailor uniform. As the episode ends, he lies down, wondering, she's so popular, why would she like me back? The next day, Yamada tells others that Kobayashi is out with a cold. She then sits on Moko's lap since Kobayashi is absent. As they're talking, Moko suddenly touches her and she jumps away. Yamada then tells her where she feels sensitive to touch. They draw Yamada's front and back, and Yamada marks the parts where not to touch her. As they leave, Adachi appears, saying, what's that? Ikikawa says, I'll erase it, to take a closer look. The next day, Yamada flaunts her above average grades. Kobayashi says, must be nice to have such low grades. Later in the library, Ikikawa helps her with her homework. Yamada, jealous, says, he never tutored me, and gets mad. Kobayashi says, don't mind her, Yamada can be weird at times, recalling when they were eating. And she got some cream on her face. She tried to get it off with more whipped cream. He controlled his laugh, but Kobayashi caught him. Yamada says he laughs plenty, recalling every moment she saw him doing so. Now it's parent-teacher day. Ikikawa notices Adachi getting scolded by his mother. He's worried about his appointment with his mother and the teacher. Ikikawa sees Yamada and her mom sitting next to his mother. Her mother keeps telling her to sit in the right posture. Ikikawa's mom says he sure is running late. Yamada overhears this and realizes it's his mom and smiles. His mom finally introduces herself. She says, please get along with Ikikawa. Yamada says, actually, we talk quite a bit. Her mother says, oh, that's why he's been enjoying school lately. She gives her a lozenge, and Yamada trades her candy. Then Yamada gives a smile. Later, after finishing their meeting, Ikikawa walks faster as he doesn't want anyone spotting him with his mom. She tells him, I traded candies with a pretty girl. Meanwhile, Yamada trails behind them. He says, yeah, Yamada. Hearing her name, she stops. She walks past them, embarrassed. The next day, they discuss Yamada's encounter with his mother. She says, "Your mother gave me this little treat." She gets closer to him, saying, "She's a sweet lady." He gets red and walks away, saying, "You have homework to finish." She takes out her notebook and asks, "Can you tutor me?" He sits down and says, "Okay." Just as she's talking to him, the librarian appears. Ikikawa panics because he spots Yamada's lozenge on the table and then notices the sign saying not to bring food into the library. He tells Yamada to hide the throat drop, but that's her sensitive spot, and she jumps back. He hides it just as the librarian's attention shifts to her. He thinks, "Did I do something wrong?" Later, Yamada draws and marks her ears as sensitive, not to be touched as well. Later, he rides home in the rain. When he rides past Yamada, she calls him, and he stops, saying, "I forgot my raincoat." Yamada puts her umbrella over him. He pushes back his hair, and she holds his face to get a better look. She then puts her bag in his bike's basket and an empty bag over him to protect him. He doesn't want the bag. She sits on his back, but he says it's dangerous to ride with her on the bike in the rain. Leaving her there, he rides back home and notices Yamada's bag in his basket. He checks and finds something important, so he rides in the rain to give her stuff back. He reaches the station, thinking he probably missed her, but then he spots her there. He runs towards her, calling her name. Seeing him, she runs toward him. She cleans his wet hair, and he gives her the bag. She gets closer to him and says, "Thank you." Now he sneezes, having caught a cold, and leaves. That night, he looks through Yamada's Instagram profile. He takes a closer look at her picture and falls asleep. Now we see he is standing, and Yamada has suddenly gotten bigger. He runs from her, but as he looks down, he sees a tiny Yamada in front of him. As he stops, giant Yamada is behind him. He wakes up and realizes it was a dream, and he has a fever. He watches television and stays home skipping the school. He hears the doorbell and thinks of ignoring it, but when he checks, Yamada is there. He rushes out and speaks with her. He wonders, "Am I dreaming?" Yamada is here. Yamada hands him some strawberry cream she got for lunch at school, and apologizes for stopping him in the rain. She then says goodbye, but just then he stops her, saying, "Come inside for some tea." As they enter, Yamada asks, "No one's home." He says his mother is at work. He starts filling water and stares at her as she sits there. The water spills out, and he ends up getting wet. He prepares tea and says, "I'll go and change." She says, "Okay." As he's changing in his room, he feels blurry and falls down. Yamada notices the tea is finished but worries as he hasn't returned yet. She calls him and goes to check on him, only to see him lying on the ground. Yamada holds him and helps him sit on the bed. She then dresses him in warm clothes. He wonders if he's dreaming and, due to the fever, falls on her. She holds him and hugs him tightly. Later, he is awakened by his sister at night. He thinks he was dreaming of Yamada being there, but his sister shows him the cream and a letter Yamada left for him to get well soon. The next day in the library, Yamada asks Ikikawa, "Do you use Line?" He replies, "I do sometimes." She looks at her phone and says, "These stickers online are hilarious. I can send you some." Ikikawa doesn't realize that she wants to exchange Line IDs, so he says, "No thanks." She moves closer to him, asking why, but then feels like she might be being pushy. She goes back to her desk, feeling low. Later, Moko says, "I want a boyfriend, so I'm going to get the Line ID of all the boys in class." Yamada likes her idea. Ikikawa thinks getting a boyfriend is like breathing for Yamada. In the next moment, she's standing in front of him. Before she can ask for his ID, Moko appears and asks for it. She says to him, "Let's share our IDs." Yamada is shocked and jealous. Moko then says, "Oh, Ikikawa, your profile picture is Rem from Re:0. Just then, he notices Yamada giving him a death stare. Moko suggests, "Let's go approach Ishimuro, the track team captain." Kobayashi teases her, "I know you want his ID for yourself." Yamada tells them they live in the same building, and their parents get along, trying to make Ikikawa jealous. Moko pushes Yamada towards Ishimuro, and Ikikawa desperately wants to stop her. But then he overhears her asking, "Do you use Line?" He suddenly realizes she had asked him the same question in the library, and freaks out, realizing that she wanted to exchange IDs with him. Everyone looks at him, while Yamada decides not to exchange Line IDs with Ishimuro. Ikikawa thinks, "Maybe I'll share my ID with her next time." Just then, Adachi appears and mocks him for having his sister on the Line app, saying, "You perv, trying to date your sister." Later that night, while reading a manga, he thinks, "So Yamada was trying to exchange Line IDs with me. But she likes guys who are distant and curt, really nice underneath." Frustrated, he throws the book away, saying, "Such guys don't exist in real life." Regaining his composure, he picks up the book again and thinks about the gloomy and distant guy in the manga. He starts recalling his moments with Yamada. He wants to be with her so badly but doesn't want to give himself false hope. The next day, as Ikikawa walks towards his class, he spots Haruya inviting Yamada to his place to play video games. As Yamada seems uninterested, Haruya invites Kobayashi as well, who gets excited to go. Everyone realizes he's using her as bait. Later, Kobayashi approaches Yamada, who asks her, "Do you really want to go?" She replies, "If you don't want to come, I'll ask Moko." Yamada gets upset, knowing Haruya's intentions. Later, Ikikawa notices Yamada crying all alone. When she sees him, she smiles and asks, "Do you play video games?" He says, "Yeah," and recalls his memories with friends, saying video games aren't much fun. His head starts to hurt from the memories. Yamada asks, "Are you okay?" Just then, Haruya's friends appear and start talking to her, saying, "You're cute, you clearly already have a boyfriend." She says, "No." They respond, "Oh, you have to pretend because you're on TV and stuff." She suddenly cries out loudly, "I really don't have one," and then turns towards Ikikawa, saying, "I don't, you know." A girl says, "Let's get going." Yamada then looks at Ikikawa, and he says, "You shouldn't hang around me when people are around." Just then, she grabs his arm and looks closely at him. At that moment, Haruya's friends bring Haruya over. Haruya sees them standing too close, and Ikikawa notices him. Haruya leaves after seeing them together. Yamada realizes she got too close and says, "Sorry," before walking away. As Ikikawa heads back to class, he overhears Moko telling Kobayashi, "Haruya is only using you by inviting you so Yamada will go to his house." Kobayashi acts cool, saying, "I know that," but Yamada feels bad for her and Ikikawa just watches. After school, Yamada packs her bag. Kobayashi tries to talk to her, but Yamada ignores her, so Kobayashi calls her stupid and a giant, and Yamada runs after her. She finally catches her and holds her. Kobayashi says sorry and they both make up and leave together. Ikikawa, who is listening to all this, notices Haruya nearby. Haruya looks at him, then leaves. Later at home, Ikikawa wonders if Haruya thinks he and Yamada are dating, and if Yamada has been using him the whole time as a bait to shake off the guy who couldn't take a hint. As he recalls all the intimate moments with her, he starts to feel used. The next day at school, he's reading his murder encyclopedia. When Yamada enters the class, he tries to ignore her, making her wonder what happened. At the end of the day, she tries to talk to him, but he ignores her and leaves. She starts following him, but he runs faster and faster. She finally catches him and pinning him against the wall. She asks, "Are you mad at me? Because I try to always get closer." He coldly says no and is about to leave. She says sorry and starts crying. He realizes he was thinking about her the wrong way. She isn't the type of person to use people. "I just wanted an excuse to hate her," he thinks. He recalls when his sister asked if he wanted a video game. He refused, even though he liked it so much, and told his friends he didn't want it because he was afraid of getting too obsessed. Back in the present, he says, "I'm not mad," and she hugs him, then says, "Sorry for being too close." He replies, "I never said don't get close." After that, they walk home together. As they reach the point where they usually part ways, Ikikawa says, "Bye." Yamada stops him, saying, "Let's talk some more." They start talking about winter break. He then tells her, "I forgot to give this back. I've already finished this volume." They sit down, and she asks, "Did you like it?" He says, "Yeah, better than I expected." She says, "Okay, I'll bring the next one on Monday," and leaves with his bike. He stops her, saying, "It's mine." On Monday, she apologizes for forgetting to bring the new volume. He says, "From tomorrow, we have break." She replies, "Okay, then let's decide the meeting point. I'll bring the next volume." She then takes out her phone and asks for his line ID. He finally shares it with her. She smiles and says, "See you tomorrow." That night, they talk, and they decide to meet next day at 2 p.m. She then writes, "Good night." It's the next day and Christmas Eve. We see Ikikawa has reached their meeting point. He checks the time as he's half an hour early. Just then, he spots Yamada there. He walks towards her, wondering why she's early too. He tries to confirm, but Yamada gives him an angry look until she realizes it's him. She then puts on some lipstick and says, "There's a place I want to go." They both walk towards that place. He sees his reflection in the glass and realizes he looks like a stalker, which explains Yamada's earlier reaction. He removes his hood and mask. Yamada tells him to hold on to the bag so they won't get lost. She says, "Stick close." She stumbles and bumps into him. Now, they reach the place that serves the best pancakes. She says, "Let's go." As he walks, it feels like a date. There's a long line, and they stand there. He thinks about something as he looks at her. She asks, "What is it?" And he asks, "How did you do your hair?" She says, "My mom did it." He says, "She seems pretty strict." She replies, "She is when we're out, but at home she's nice." He says, "That's pretty cute." She says, "You've never called me cute," and gets upset. Inside the restaurant, he looks at the menu and notices how expensive everything is. So when she asks, "What do you want?" he says, "Just coffee." When the waiter approaches, Yamada tells her their order, pancake and coffee. The waiter asks, "What kind of coffee?" and Ikikawa says, "Just normal." As the waiter leaves, she asks, "You really like black, huh?" "I like it too. They have a lot of black clothes." He says, "I bet they look good on you. You have good fashion sense. For me, it's just a color I can't avoid." Just then, the waitress brings the coffee. He takes a sip and regrets meeting Yamada outside of school, as he feels they lead different lives outside school. Now, the waitress brings the pancakes. Yamada gets excited to see them. She asks Ikikawa to take a picture of her. She opens her mouth to eat a slice as he clicks the pic. Then, she eats it. Now, he takes a video of her, and as they're done, he asks, "Are you going to upload them?" She says, "I'm not uploading," and sends them to him instead. He looks at them and is amazed by her cuteness. As he keeps looking at her pics, she holds his chin and says, "Don't forget to watch the real thing." Realizing she's close, she then sits down. Now they visit a shopping store. She asks, "How am I looking in the cap?" He says, "It's fine." Now she's looking at other stuff as Ikikawa feels awkward. She selects 2 dresses and asks which one is best. He tells her to try them, so she goes into the changing room while he stands outside. His mind starts imagining Yamada, so he tries to walk away, but she comes out and calls him back. As she tries on another dress, he tries not to think dirty. Suddenly, he sees his sister there. Yamada comes out. He tries to shush her, telling her his sister is here. As his sister asks the way to the trial room, he thinks, "What should I do now?" Yamada pulls him inside, and they both stand there. As his sister goes inside another room, Yamada tries to pull up her zipper. She then whispers, "When can I meet your sister?" He says, "Some other time." She says, "Okay, but I feel sweaty in this dress." He says, "It looks good on you, though." She says, "Okay, then I'm buying it." But as she turns around, he gets totally red seeing her innerwear. Meanwhile, his sister leaves from there. Afterward, they both walk out. She says, "Sorry I dragged you with me today." He replies, "I'm not a people person, but I had fun today." She puts her warm shawl on him and says, "I know," and then talks with him as they walk. Suddenly, she stops and says, "How beautiful." The whole area is decorated with lights. She smiles, and he looks at her, thinking, "I never knew the lights could be this nice." After that, they go to the station. He takes the bag with manga from her. They get into a tight predicament, causing them to split up on the train. Just then, she holds his hand so they don't get separated. He wonders if it's her hand, thinking, "I don't want to be labeled a creep again," but soon realizes it is hers. Now they walk out from the train, still holding each other's hand. They don't know when to stop holding hands. As she reaches near her home, she says, "Okay, bye." He's about to wish her, but she silences him, saying there's still time for New Year. She then says, "Okay, then see ya," as he turns around and looks back for her, thinking she's gone, but she comes out from behind the pole. Using her hair as a mustache, she says, "Merry Christmas," and he smiles. In the next scene, we see a restaurant. Ikikawa is sitting with Moko, Haruya, and his friend. Haruya grabs his shoulders and asks about Yamada. The scene shifts to 4 days ago. As winter vacation starts, Ikikawa visits Akita, his grandma's house, for the holidays. His grandma comes to welcome them. They then walk inside the house, and Ikikawa has to share a room with his sister, who says it would be fun. Just then, he gets a message from Yamada sharing delicious food. He recalls telling Yamada that he was going to his grandma's place, and she asked him to send pictures of the snow. He takes a picture from the window but isn't satisfied, so he goes out to take a better one. Walking in the snow, he takes out his phone and tries to take a picture as he moves forward. His leg slips and he falls. His sister comes out looking for him. Seeing his footsteps, she runs to find him lying there. She asks, "Can you stand?" And as he uses his hand for support, he realizes it's broken. Now we see him with his mom coming back from the hospital after getting plaster on hand. His mom asks, "Why did you walk out in the snow?" He says, "Dunno." She replies, "This is the first time you've been naughty and hurt yourself." As they return to his grandma's place, they have a nice family meal. Afterwards, he takes a selfie and shares it with Yamada. At night, before sleeping, he gets a video call from Yamada. He answers and blushes when he sees her. She asks, "Can you hear me? What happened to your arm?" He says, "Nothing, just took a fall." She then realizes her position and puts on her sweater. As they continue talking, she suddenly stops. He turns around to see his sister standing there. He puts his hand up to hide it but accidentally hangs up. She asks, "Who was that super cute girl?" He replies, "Just a girl from my class, a friend," and thinks if his sister picks up on this, she'll ask many questions. But she silently goes to sleep. Now he talks with Yamada, who asks, "What did you say to her?" He replies, "I said we're friends." As they're texting, she then asks him, "Can I call you?" He walks outside the room to talk. She asks, "Are you fine?" And he replies, "Yeah." She then asks him if he has any drink nearby. So he goes to check inside the room and says, "Yeah, a tea." She says, "Okay, let's drink together," and they both drink their drinks. After drinking, she tells him to look outside the window. He sees it looks so beautiful outside. She says, "I can't see the moon from here." So he takes a picture of the moon and sends it to her. After that, she tells him to put his hand on his head and move it from top to bottom. "This will help you sleep," she says. He replies, "You girls like that sort of stuff." After that, they end the call, and he sends good night. The next day, as they're leaving, his grandma says, "You've gotten mature, Ikikawa." Before that, they go to a store. Ikikawa looks at a dog keychain and thinks of buying it for Yamada. His sister says, "Let's get matching ones." On their way home, his sister inquires about Yamada. Ikikawa thinks she's asking because Yamada might be out of his league. He then thinks they're alike, both giving up before they can get hurt. She then asks, "Yamada is the same girl who left you the note when you were sick, right? Maybe you have a chance?" She teases him. The next day, he tells his sister he's going out to return some books. As he walks, he takes out the keychain he bought for Yamada. Suddenly, a dog appears and he gets scared like a cat. It's Yamada in front of him with her dog. She then says it's been a while. She introduces her dog, Wantaro. Afterwards, he sits in the park while she plays with her dog. He takes out the keychain and ponders if it's okay to give this gift to Yamada. Yamada appears and says, I opened this drink for you. As he drinks it, she says, try giving him a command. He tells him to sit down. He doesn't, so Yamada does. He tells the dog to spin, but he doesn't, so Yamada spins. He asks for a paw. Before the dog can do it, Yamada does. She then sits closer to him. He can feel her hands are cold and remembers he bought her a scarf. She takes it out from the bag and, holding it, she says, you know, I was going to let you keep it, but I thought maybe you wouldn't want it. He says, oh, and then takes out the keychain. He says, this is a little souvenir for you. She takes it and gets happy to see it. She runs and happily jumps, saying, thank you, while he keeps her scarf. Later, as they walk back home, she asks, are you thinking of visiting the temple for New Year? He says, yeah, with family. She says, okay, I'll message you the time. Goodbye, and runs off. A few days later, she texts him that she's having a night stay at Kobayashi's house. That night, he walks to the store to get a drink, but then Haruya appears from behind. He asks, what was your name? Ikikawa, right. The girls are also there. They now sit in the restaurant, and back in the present, Haruya asks him for Yamada's line ID. Haruya's friend remembers Ikikawa and is about to say something, but Moko stops her. Haruya peeks at his phone and sees Yamada's message, saying, you disappointed me. His friend says, leave the kid alone, but Haruya tells her to get a coffee for him, and she gets up. Moko says, I'll come with you. As they walk away, Ikikawa is aware that this guy is going to use force. He sits opposite him and asks for Yamada's line ID again. Moko is listening to everything, hiding behind the wall. Ikikawa recalls Yamada's face and then replies, I'm not telling. Haruya asks why, and he replies, because I don't want to give it to you. Moko appears and says, Ikikawa, walk me back home, and tells Haruya he and I are friends. As they walk out, she says, nice work back there. He says, Haruya got the wrong idea about me and Yamada. She says, so, I can also hold hands with you like Yamada. She then walks away and loudly says, I know you like her. As they reach her place, she asks, wanna pop in? He says goodbye and walks away. Walking out, he calls Yamada, and she says, it's rare for you to call, and they wish each other a happy new year. Moko enters in, and Yamada says hi to her. He realizes that it's Kobayashi's house and that Yamada is there. Meanwhile, Moko asks, are trash bins just invisible to you? It's New Year's Eve, and Ikikawa is visiting the temple with his family. As he walks, he thinks, I'll meet Yamada in half an hour, staying behind when my family leaves. Just then, his mother says, is that girl standing there Yamada? He's shocked and thinks, why is she always early? His sister comments, oh, that's the real Yamada, and asks Ikikawa, does she have a boyfriend? He says, I don't know. She says, the way she's working on her smile and keeps checking the mirror, she's clearly waiting for someone. He says, maybe. Kana tells him to say hi to her, but he knows she wants to stand by and watch. She pushes him to go, and Yamada spots him. She approaches them, shocking him even more. She wishes them a happy new year. Ikikawa's mother tells everyone she's Ikikawa's classmate. Yamada walks with his family, saying, don't mind me joining. She goes to Ikikawa and talks while Kana awkwardly smiles. Afterward, his family leaves after the temple visit, and now they both stand there. Ikikawa can only use one hand, so Yamada joins her hand with his, saying, may our wishes come true. Getting too close to her, his heartbeat quickens. After the temple visit, they walk down the stairs. She asks, what did you wish for? He says, just wished for things to stay the same. They meet his family, and then she says goodbye. Ikikawa thinks, okay, just a little longer and we'll meet back up before they head to another location. Kana says, we'll meet you later, and grabs him, attempting to catch up with Yamada to make a better first impression. They start searching for her, and he spots her. He calls her, only to see her mouth full of food. As she says, I bought one for you, she spots his sister. Kana asks her, want to come over to our place? She swallows the food and says, yes. Now, as they walk toward home, Ikikawa asks, why do you invite her? She says, I just found her charming. She asks Yamada, were you waiting for someone? Yamada says, not really. So she recalls Yamada's earlier behavior and realizes she was waiting for Ikikawa, then gets hit by a pole as she says, you really got a chance. Now they arrive at their place. As Yamada takes off her coat, Ikikawa spots the keychain. He thinks it won't be good if Kana notices it. Later, he tries to hide it, but Kana thinks he's trying to make a move. She asks him, so you two are already that close. But then, she realizes he was trying to hide the keychain. Afterward, she serves New Year's soup to Yamada. Yamada takes a bite, saying, thank you. Kana says, you look cute while eating. Yamada says, thank you. After she finishes, Kana puts the dishes in the sink. She then asks, what should I call you? Yamada says, my friends call me Dayama. Kana asks Ikikawa what she should call Yamada, and Yamada plays along with it to tease him, which embarrasses him. Afterward, Kana shows her yearbook to both of them and takes out Ikikawa's as well. Yamada starts looking at his childhood pictures. She shows her junior high pictures of Ikikawa as well. Yamada asks, what about from the school outdoor excursion? Kana says, he never went, and he says, that's already enough. Now Kana says, I almost forgot, I have to meet my friends, so so see you later. Ikikawa spots the keychain. He checks if it's Yamada's, but upon checking, he realizes it was Kana who left it. As she's putting on her shoes, she thanks Yamada for being Ikikawa's friend, saying, "I'm just happy for him." Yamada stops her and says, "Can I call you my sis?" Surprising Kana. She replies, "Only if I get to call you Anna-chan." Now as Yamada sees the keychain, she says, "You bought matching ones." Afterwards, she washes the dishes. Ikikawa says, "You don't have to do that." He thinks of putting the album away, but she follows him to the room. As he's about to put it away, she grabs the album from him. She starts looking at his pictures and spots him. Afterwards, they sit together, and she asks him about two boys in a picture with him. He tells her they're childhood friends who separated when they went to private school. Yamada looks at his trophies, and Ikikawa thinks, "These are from my glory days." She spots his bizarre crime files murders book. He says, "That's about the minds of murderers and stuff." She goes closer to him, asking, "It's like psychology, right?" And then asks him if he can read her mind, but he says he knows she's not a murderer. Just then, she spots a magazine with her pictures, and as he jumps to hide it, he ends up fully on top of her. They are both embarrassed. She pushes him off and gets up, saying, "Sorry for poking into your things." Just when he thinks, "I'm done for," he hears the sound of a click. Yamada is taking pictures from his yearbook and then walks away. He follows her, but just then she stops and says, "Next time I'll show you my yearbook." Then, saying goodbye, she leaves. He wonders, did she just invite me over? No way. Now we see a young Ikikawa looking for his name on a list, but he finds out both his friends were selected for private school, and he wasn't. During their graduation, he seems sad as he knows he's not going to see his friends again. They'll be parted. In junior high, his classmates try to befriend him but find him creepy after seeing him read murder stories. He suddenly wakes up, his memories messing with his dreams. Afterwards, as he puts the murder books in his bag, a guy from his imagination manga book tells him, "People will get scared of this stuff." He replies, "Let it be, it's what I'm into." He walks out where his mom and sister are waiting. He sits in, and they drive towards school. Reaching there, he walks out, and Yamada meets him. Now they both walk towards class. Yamada asks him, "Where's your pair of the keychain?" He takes it out from his bag, saying, "Here." So she straps it on his shirt's top butt. He says, "We better get moving," and she says, "Yeah." At that moment, he starts recalling all the memories he's spent with her. He then says, "It's strange, back in year 1, I never wanted to come to school. I stayed at home a lot, but these days, I don't hate it anymore. It's all thanks to you." Just then, his murder books fall down. She grabs them and gives them to him without thinking he's creepy. He feels accepted, and she hugs him. He holds her as well, saying, "Thank you." Tears come out of his eyes, and Yamada cries as well. After that, they run towards class because they're late. Moko appears, and they both awkwardly distance themselves. Moko asks, "Wait, did you two kiss?" and then runs away. Yamada gives him a wrapper, but it's empty. She says, "Just kidding," and gives him a candy. And with this beautiful part, we end our story for now. If you guys want the next part, comment second part and give this video 1 million likes. I'll be reading all the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. You guys are the best.